Roy, we can start with you.
Coach, would you just open up with the general statement about today's game?
I think that this is something I told you I was worried about, is our inconsistency from one game to the next. And I hammered it down with the team, and honestly, we came in at halftime winning, and I yelled at them because I knew I could see it was coming. We weren't being the team that we are, and you can't play around with basketball, the game of basketball. Teams don't give up, and the momentum sways rather quickly. So when you have it going your way is when you need to double down, and just something we did not do in the first half. So when the second half came around, we allowed them to stay in the game, and they took advantage of it. All credit to them, they didn't give up.
And for you to have almost everyone available, were there times during the game where you could have kind of hit that soft reset button just to to stop that, or do you just allow the players to just lay that out to just kind of hey, we got to figure this out too,
If there was a soft reset that I thought would work, I would 100% push that soft reset button. But what I thought was a soft reset by calling a timeout or even talking to the halftime did not function correctly. So at that point, it's not on me per se to be the one to make the change. I can try to spark the change, but the change has to occur before the players are out there doing it.
And the last one I do have on my end, Vaughn Akers, since he's come back, I've kind of noticed that he's putting a little bit more on his shoulders. Just how does that help the team a little bit, especially the younger guys that don't get as many minutes, and try to help them out and give them that boost, just to get those playing minutes from time to time. I mean, not today, but as the season has progressed.
Yeah, I think Don's been, I said this before, he's been a unbelievable professional, not just on the court, but off the court, just motivating other players, helping, especially with Dante. Him and Dante are really close, and he's constantly trying to give him advice and guide him a little bit. So he's a joy to have around, quite frankly. He's a great professional. He takes him seriously, he plays his ass off. But what more can I ask as a coach?
Just one on mine, Coach. You mentioned yesterday that you were kind of worried in regards to the routine being kind of messed up, having a morning game. Did that also affect the way that the players played?
I mean, it's a morning game for us and for them, right? So, if they can play like they played and play to the end like that, then we should have done the same. I can make excuses for our team if I needed to, but I'm not going to. We knew what was in store. It was just communicated to everyone. We knew that we had the early game. We knew, we had a dinner together last night. That's one of the last things I said to them is, know what we have coming into this. We had a meeting this morning before the game, and I said the exact same thing. It's 11 o'clock game. We got to get ourselves up for that. And every individual has to find their way of getting themselves prepared for a game, and that includes myself. I know my routine. I have my routine. I do the same routine before every game. The players have to do the same and get themselves motivated and the right mindset to play a basketball game. Quite frankly, this is our job. It's what we do for a living. We're professionals. You do your job or you don't do your job. So no matter what time the game is, this is what we do for a living. If the game was at midnight, that's what it calls, that's what we work. This is our job. But we have to do better than this. Period. Like, you can say we started pretty decently, but in my opinion, I still wasn't satisfied with the way we started. We're still better than what we put out on court today. And that's in every single one of these quarters. Even the quarters we won, the first two quarters, 32-point quarter, 37-point quarter. I think that by halftime we should have been up by almost 20 points if we actually played the way we're supposed to be playing. And then to finish the game the way we did, 11 turnovers in the fourth quarter. These are the things that I can't keep harping on enough. We knew going into this game, we said, hey, this is a team that they stay in the game off of turning people over and offensive rebounds. So that's what they did.
KJ?
Coach, you talked about the fourth quarter a little bit already, getting outscored 39-19 at the end. You talked about the turnovers being part of that. Obviously, on the defensive end for you guys, Malachi Flynn also really got going for them. What did you see on that end of the floor that allowed Flynn to kind of start to get in a rhythm there in the fourth?
We lost our aggression. You know, we have our pickup points. We're supposed to pick up the ball at half court and get into the ball. We had too many guys that are worried about getting beat off the dribble. You get beat off the dribble, the thing about it is we talk about trust defense. I need to trust that someone's going to be behind me to help. Then I can help because I know someone's going to rotate and get mine. And I can rotate and get his because someone's going to rotate and get mine. And we give multiple efforts and we get each other's back. We didn't do it. We didn't do it. We had a breakdown in trust completely. And sad to say, because that's what we had in the first game in Texas, and we somewhat got our trust back in the second game. And here we are again, losing trust in each other. And at some point, we have to have faith in the man next to us, that he's going to do what he needs to do so I can do what I need to do. But it starts with, what is my job? What do I do? Period.
And Marquise, you know, he did some nice things in the game. 9 assists, only 1 turnover, but he didn't necessarily shoot well. You know, what would you say about his performance, what you saw from him, and maybe why the shots weren't falling?
I think he forced some shots at the end. Also, you know, I do think he did a good job of not turning the ball over. I still would like to see him take a little bit more control of the game, especially when things get out of hand, to calm them down and get everyone settled and set, especially when the game starts going the wrong direction. But you know, we're going to continue to count on him a lot to be our playmaker, to be our point guard, to be an extension of me when he's out there on the court. And it's something where we need to continue to grow.
And just looking ahead a little bit, obviously next 2 games for you guys, both against the Osceola Magic on the road. Just what's kind of the mindset going into those matchups in Florida against that team?
You know, at this point, I'll be honest with you, I could talk about them, which I'm sure is going to be an issue. We'll need to discuss them, but I'd rather us focus on ourselves right now. We need to be more an internal team right now and do what we do well, regardless of who's matching up across the court from us. If we continue to, every game that we came out and really played well, it's because we focused on what we do well, not what the other team does well. So we need to really internalize what do we do well and how can we double down on those things constantly and not back off on those things. And today was a step back on the things that we do well.
David?
And Coach, you mentioned defensively that the team isn't clicking at times, and that's usually the problem. But tell me, is it more of an issue of the chemistry between the team or just the trust? And if it is a trust, how do you fix that?
I think it is a trust, and it comes down to just number one, playing harder in general. And I think that the trust is, like I said, it all starts with one person. It's like a domino thing, right? If I pressure the ball one time and then he goes by me and no one's there to help, now I'm worried about pressuring the ball. So I press the ball, I get beat, I go to help and someone didn't help on mine, now I'm worried about going to help. It's a domino effect. So what it comes down to is everyone's sitting up and saying, hey, you can trust me, I got you. Or even more so, accountability. So when I do screw up, I can say, hey, my bad, I should have been there for you. So I think that we need a little bit more accountability between each other, and that builds trust. I mean, outside of basketball, really, like, you know, I think you guys know me, I'm always talking about life in general. Life in general, accountability builds trust, it fosters trust. It is what actually is the driving force behind trust. When you mess up, and whether it's with your girlfriend, your wife, your husband, or your brother and sister, when you say, hey, my bad, now they trust you again. But if you never say that, and you just keep going like nothing happened, how do you feel about that person? Well, so how do we build it? We start with accountability, and that starts with us, number one, in the film session, showing people where they should have been, and how they could have been there, but then those same guys are in film saying, you know, you're right, and not just sitting back and making excuses for why they didn't do this or why they didn't do that. So hopefully we have more of that.
And as a coach, how do you instill that mindset in them? Because, you know, some of these guys, a lot of these guys have a lot of confidence. They know what they can do on the court. They know their defensive abilities. So how do you separate the mindset that you're trying to instill in them with their talents?
How do I separate the mindset? I don't want to separate it because I want their talents. But for me, it's just constant communication. Again, like it's the process of watching where we're faltering. So it's not just on the court during the games, but also what we do where you guys are around. We're watching video with these guys and showing them, this is where you should have been, this is what you should have done, this is where we should have done, this is how we could have been better. And I think, honestly, that's one of the reasons we have such great bounce backs is because when we do have crap games like this, we show the film of all the mistakes. They see it all. And then we come back playing even harder because we recognize all the mistakes we made. Then we play a great game. And of course, there's minimal mistakes. So now we take a step back. So I don't know if we need to just never show good stuff and only show their screw ups, and maybe that'll help. You know, we'll try whatever we can try right now.
Last one for me, Coach. The first half was one of the best first halves, in my opinion, that y'all played this entire season. But you said it yourself that you got on your team a little bit. Could you kind of give me the message that you gave your team during halftime?
Oh, we still weren't. We were making shots, but we weren't doing what we do. Defensively, we're still giving them way too much space to do what they want. I mean, one of the first possessions in the first quarter, they had 3 offensive rebounds of 1 possession alone. When one of the key points I put on our board today was we have to rebound the ball. So how can I not be upset if I give you a key point of take care of the ball, and I give you a key point of rebound the ball, and what do? We turn it over and we give them offensive rebounds. Now, at that point, I don't care what the score is. It's about us getting better. This I always view this, whether it's a win or a loss, when I come in here and I talk to you guys, I always talk about what can we still be better at, even if we win. So if we can be up in the first half, but if we're still not doing the stuff we're supposed to be doing, I'm not satisfied. I'm not happy. And what I said to the team at halftime, I said, are y'all satisfied? I'm not satisfied. I'm not at all satisfied with what we did. If you're satisfied with the way we played, then you're on the wrong team right now. Because we were far from who we call ourselves to be, who our identity is as a team, even when we were winning the first half. And it just flowed right into the second half. Because I could see it coming. Like, if we're not going to be us 48 minutes of the game, then we're going to have problems. No one's going to quit. No one quits. Like, no one's going to give up and say, oh, well, they're up 11, so we're going to stop. We weren't up 30. We weren't up 40. We never blew them out the water. So when it comes down to it, we just have to double down on who we are as a team. And we just weren't doing that.
Thank you, Coach.
Hey, Coach. Just real quick. There was a lot of fresh shots, real good fresh moves to the hoop. A lot of big shots from downtown. You already gave us the message, but what are we gonna do to keep the gas pedal going? So we don't get tired like we did and find those missed opportunities and turnovers.
You think we did it because we were tired?
Well, maybe.
I don't think we're tired. I think we just played like shit. Being honest with you. Like, I can say what you said. If you say, I'm not going to give them an excuse of saying they're tired. That's not the excuse I'm going to give them. We played bad. Has nothing to do with fatigue. It has to do with us playing badly. So, there's no way of managing that to make sure that it's not a fatigue issue. That's all I can say to that question. Is us playing badly. It's just not being us. That's it. Like, ask one of those guys that I took out the game, did they want to come out? They're going to say, no, I was good. So if you could tell me that, then you damn sure better not tell me you did it because you're tired.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
God bless.
Thank you, Coach.